Welcome to Spicing Up the Rich Content Editor,
Take
Advanced
three.
Canvas Techniques. I am really excited that you're here in this session with me. And in case you haven't met me before, my name is Greg Beyer. I am a distance education coordinator for Cosumnes River College. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I do suffer from vanity, but it is appropriate for me to share in this session that I was the Canvas Educator of the Year in 2019. So that's me asserting my street cred, I guess. I am putting everyone into mute mode, not because I don't want to hear your voices, I really do, but I'm going to try to talking about each of these things. I'm going to show you some examples that are built into my presentation, and then I'm going to show you live how these things can be done. And then as I go through each of these techniques, I will then ask you for your questions or comments or whatever. So in the meantime, please don't hesitate to post everything and anything into the chat. And I'll get to those when I get to those breaks. So the Rich Content Editor in Canvas is the place where we edit text, where we embed videos, where we put images. And the Rich Content Editor is ubiquitous. It's present in almost every single Canvas tool. It's not visible when you're addressing a message to students, but it's in the content pages, announcements, assignments, quizzes, questions and answers, discussions, discussion replies. So it's in a lot of different places. And what we can do is we can take advantage of some code to make the content of the Rich Content Editor pop, while at the same time doing it in a way that allows for each of our students to learn to access the material. And that's what I'm going to do today. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the Rich Content Editor and kind of briefly tell you about these terms, HTML and CSS. The Rich Content Editor is a tool that's called a WYSIWYG tool. That's an acronym for what you see is what you get. And we are surrounded by WYSIWYG tools. None of us generally have to engage with code if we don't want to. And in fact, in Canvas, we don't have to at all, because the Rich Content Editor, we can paste formatted text into the Rich Content Editor. It will keep the formatting for the most part. We can also use the tools that are part of the Rich Content Editor to format the text we want to, bold and italic, those kinds of things. But what the Rich Content Editor is doing for us is it is writing the HTML and the CSS to make the things display that we're telling it in that way to display. So HTML, in case you don't know, is hypertext markup language. It is the language that web pages are written in. There are other languages that help contribute to making HTML work the way it works, but you can look at any web page and view its source, and it'll always be in HTML. And then CSS is cascading style sheets. It's a way to format the content that is in HTML. So if you've ever taken an HTML class, or if you remember when HTML was first created, it was only 25 years ago or so, when the World Wide Web was invented. HTML itself used to be used for both layout and formatting, but now we are, I should say not layout and formatting, but for the contents and the formatting. But now we use HTML for the content, we use CSS for the formatting. Do you really need to know the difference between those two? Not necessarily. What's nice about Canvas and its Rich Content Editor is that Canvas is built with safety in mind, and it's safe in the sense that it limits which HTML code and which CSS attributes we can use. And so it's really hard for us to break Canvas using accessing the code. So don't worry about doing things and hurting your course or hurting Canvas when you're playing with these things. And then in addition to, well, let me pause there and move to the next thing. Today, I'm going to show you how to use HTML and CSS to float and pad an image, to put text inside a simple box, to put text inside a shadow box, to make an impact with icons, and to make a tabbed page. Again, I will show you what these look like from a kind of a before and after on this presentation, and then we'll dive into the code.